On this episode of Books on the Movies, Chaplin, A Life by Stephen Weissman. This is a fascinating book about history, about cinema history, and one of the greatest innovators in cinema history, Charlie Chaplin. I mean, he goes back to the Victorian age when Chaplin was a little boy. Both his parents were performers on the vaudeville stage, something that doesn't even exist anymore. And I don't think anybody even really understands what that means. But he dives into how Charlie Chaplin was really influenced by both his mother and his father, and by vaudeville itself, and just hanging around the clubs and the pubs and learning all the tricks of the trade and comedy and how to make a full house laugh. And it explores basically how he was living on the top of his game. Both his parents were successful. They lived in high luxury. And then once the crowd got tired of him, boom, crash, fell, poverty. And it's interesting, he makes a place, this I think is the Dr. Weissman, explains how everything in his childhood, from the poverty, how it influenced his films and how those films became endearing and basically the classics that we have today, that even today's audiences can relate. He tells of how popular Charlie Chaplin was, that he was able to tour America and wound up in Hollywood, where the big comedy scene at the time were the Keystone Cops, run by this guy, Mark Sennett, in Sennett Productions, and how Chaplin battled with these guys in order to get some more feeling and to get more character-driven comedies, where at the time it was all slapstick. So it's a very interesting history, and it really shows you, and he tells you, and he makes a good case of how Charlie Chaplin bridged the early days of cinema, silent films, and kind of developed the stories and developed the acting style that we see today. So this is I recommend this highly, and it's good to know one of the great pioneers of cinema.